In 2013, a programmer working alone in a Las Vegas apartment finished an operating system. Not a hobby build, a full kernel, a compiler, a windowing system, even a 3D engine, over 100,000 lines of code, all his own. He said the specifications hadn't come from any standards committee. They'd come from God. He called it the third temple. 5 years later he was gone, and somewhere right now someone is still booting it up. Terrence Andrew Davis was born December 15, 1969, and trained as an electrical engineer. For years his career looked unremarkable by tech standards, engineering roles, contract work, nothing that hinted at what was coming. In 1996, Davis experienced the first in a series of manic episodes serious enough to require hospitalization. He was initially diagnosed with bipolar disorder. Over the following years, doctors revised the diagnosis. Davis had schizophrenia. Davis came to interpret his episodes not as illness alone, but as revelation. He believed God was speaking to him directly and had given him an assignment. The assignment, as he described it, build a digital third temple, the one described in the Hebrew Bible, except this one would be made of code. Most people in his position would have modified an existing operating system. Davis started from nothing, his own kernel, his own compiler, his own language. He renamed the project 3 times as it evolved: J operating system, then LuzDAS, then SparrowOS, before settling on the name it would keep, TempleOS. Then he went quiet and got to work. What Davis built was strange by any modern standard. TempleOS ran everything, every program, every process in a single shared memory space, with none of the protective walls modern systems build between programs. The screen resolution was fixed at 640 by 480. The palette was locked to 16 colors. Sound came through a single audio channel. Davis said none of that was a technical limitation, it was what he'd been told to build. He wrote the whole thing largely alone over roughly a decade: kernel, compiler, bootloader, windowing system, even a game engine in a language of his own design he called Holy C. Engineers who examined the finished source code later described it the way you'd describe a skyscraper built by one person with no crew. While he built it, Davis documented almost everything about himself in public, nightly live streams, YouTube vlogs, a running broadcast of his process and his beliefs. An audience found him. Some were there for the engineering, genuinely startled that one person had built a working OS from the metal up. Others were there for the spectacle, and during his most vulnerable episodes, some viewers deliberately provoked him for a reaction, then clipped and shared what followed. It's a pattern this channel keeps circling back to: the internet's ability to watch a person in crisis in real time, and to not look away. On the technical side, a smaller circle of programmers treated the work seriously, dissecting the compiler, testing the kernel, writing up what they found on forums and tech news threads. Davis, meanwhile, stopped taking the medication prescribed for his condition. He believed it dulled the clarity he needed to code, and to hear what he believed he was hearing. Without medication, his public episodes intensified. Around 2017, YouTube removed his channel. Fans had already started archiving what they could: live stream recordings, vlogs, clips, before and after the takedown, scattering copies across the Internet Archive and elsewhere. Off camera, his life was destabilizing in parallel with his channel. Over his final 2 years, Davis moved in and out of stable housing. Through all of it, TempleOS itself didn't change. The code sat exactly as he'd left it, untouched by what was happening to the man who wrote it. In his final months, some of the people who'd followed his streams for years tried to help directly, bringing supplies, offering a place to stay. He turned nearly all of it down and kept moving. On the evening of August 11, 2018, in the Dalles, Oregon, Terry Davis was walking near railroad tracks when he was struck by a Union Pacific train. He was 48. Investigators examined the circumstances and could not determine whether the collision had been accidental or intentional. That question was never officially resolved, and this video won't try to resolve it either. The news reached the same communities that had spent years watching him, and the reaction was tangled real grief, sitting uncomfortably next to the residue of years of mockery that had followed him online. What he'd built didn't go anywhere. The complete TempleOS source stayed exactly where it had always lived, public domain, downloadable, mirrored across servers that had nothing to do with him personally. Programmers who dismissed the project while he was alive went back and read it properly, 100,000 lines standing in as the most complete record left of how his mind had actually worked. There was no mailing list, no design document, no succession plan. What survived instead was accidental. Saved live streams, forum posts, comment threads, a record nobody had set out to build, assembled after the fact by strangers. Piecing together who Terry Davis was, today, means working from fragments that were never meant to form a complete picture of anyone. A foundation now exists specifically to preserve his work and keep the record available, the source code, the site, the archive, all still online. A handful of small projects have tried to extend Holy See or fork TempleOS since 2018. None has tried to replace it. Most treat it less like a platform to build on and more like something to preserve exactly as found. TempleOS today runs exactly as it did the day he stopped touching it, not because no one is capable of changing it, but because, so far, no one has decided they have the right to. Anyone can still download TempleOS today and have it running in an emulator inside a few minutes. People still do, out of curiosity, out of respect, or for reasons harder to name. This isn't a mystery in the traditional sense. There was never a hidden identity to unmask. Davis was never anonymous a day in his life. What's left instead is a harder question. What does a mind look like once it's been fully translated into code? And does that translation count as a way of surviving? We don't have an answer. If you've ever run TempleOS or watched one of the old streams, tell us what you took from it. That's the story of TempleOS, and the man who built it for someone he believed was listening. If you want more of these rabbit holes, subscribe for the next one.